everybody. Welcome to Cliffhangers and Cocktails podcast with your hosts, Shea McLeod and
Amy Sissel.
We are USA Today best-selling authors of paranormal women's fiction, among other things. This podcast is brought to you by the Caftan Coven.
I think next time my cat is down here, he likes to sleep in my caftans. And I'll have to take a picture of it because he's the cat-tan member. The youngest, orangest, dumbest member. Anyway, so today is our 9th episode, and we're going to be talking with RED TASH about her witchy novel, Miss Fitz Discovers Midlife Magic, as well as her nonfiction book, My Life as a Kitchen Witch. We'll also be talking about using magic in the kitchen, as well as the usual drinkies, witchy things, and my favorite, general shenanigans.
So, as usual, we like to start off with an affirmation for the day. And I kind of picked one out. It's kind of initially, it's like specifically for kitchen witches, but you can replace kitchen with life and just apply it to your life in general. And the affirmation is, I start each day with intention, grateful for the abundance in my kitchen or in my life. Bring on abundance.
You have the best affirmations, and I'm so glad that this is something that you have chosen to do for yourself.
It is. I really enjoy affirmations. Awesome. Yeah. Sometimes I grab them from random places, and sometimes I mash them together, and sometimes they come out of my brain. So
I have an app that does affirmations for me, and I should write down the ones that I really like, because it'll just like yell them at me every once in a while. It doesn't yell. It's kind and soothing and quiet, actually.
You are a smart and wonderful person.
And gosh darn it, people like you. Like, what's the last one it gave me? I am making positive changes for my future. I'm a badass with a good heart. That was my favorite one today.
I love it. I love that.
About once every 45 minutes, it just like spouts out a random affirmation.
That's wild. I love it. I love it. I just think there's something about speaking them out loud that just sort of implants it into your brain and starts making it your reality. And you learn to focus on those good positive things instead of just being mired in the muck, all the time.
I think there's so much power in saying something out loud.
Yeah.
Sure. You don't have to say it to anybody necessarily, but saying something out loud is really powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It puts meaning into the world.
Yes. And the world needs love, sweet love.
Are you going to sing for us?
I might, but not today.
All right, everyone. We have a promise. That sounded like a promise to me that Shea will sing for us someday. I would, but my daughter told me I have the worst singing voice she's ever heard the other day. So that's just singing.
That is rude and probably not true. I don't know if I've ever heard you sing, really. Have I?
I don't know. We've never been to karaoke together.
Well, it seems like something that we should change before you leave for Portugal.
I agree.
Yeah.
Or go to country karaoke. Nobody ever wants to go
to country karaoke.
I mean, I know all the songs.
I know. Same. I mean, well, I don't know new songs, but like I had my country moment. Like I was super obsessed with country music in like the 90s, which is like
country.
Yes, that's my kind of country. So I know a lot of that. I know a lot of Winona. I know a lot of Reba. So I know some Dolly, and really, who else do you need?
Patsy Cline. You gotta have some Patsy Cline.
Well, I mean, sure. There's some Patsy Cline too. But
yeah. You know what I always sing when I always open up when I go to karaoke. My opening song is country. And it is I Feel Lucky Tonight.
Ah, yes.
By Why Am I Blanking?
I know this one. I can hear it in my head, but I'm really bad with names of singers.
But this is my first song. This is my first song. Okay. Every time I go to karaoke.
Now I have to Google this because this is going to drive me bonkers that I cannot remember. I mean,
you don't have to fight. Mary Chapin Carpenter.
There you go. See, I can even hear her voice. I just forget it. I can't even, my brain. Okay.
Um, right.
Perimenopause has done a number.
So I am glad that everyone is here to listen to us chat about karaoke and stuff like that, but we
Hmm.
could also talk about something else.
Yeah, well, I was sort of thinking today we could talk about kitchen witchery.
Oh, oh my
Yeah.
God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get to it.
Okay.
Um, so in its most basic form, kitchen witchery is just cooking, baking, potion making, soaps, body oils, etc., with intention. It often intermingles with herbalism, green witchcraft, hearth witchcraft, cottage witchery, traditional witchcraft, and various branches of folk magic.
Mhm.
Kitchen witchery doesn't involve a lot of elaborate evocations, intricate rituals, or circle casting. It focuses instead on infusing magical elements, energy, and intention into practical everyday items and activities. And it isn't exclusive to the kitchen, it can be anywhere in your home or your daily life.
Mhm.
And this is Shaya's domain. Shaya is
Yes.
the kitchen witch of the two of us.
Yes. I do a lot of, well, I pretty much between I do mostly kitchen witchery and then a lot of like candle magic. So, but the thing I found really interesting about kitchen witchery is that unlike other types of magic, it's really a slow, very personal magic. It's not meant for speedy, fast, I need money right now, or
Too bad.
or yeah, or even, I mean, there are spells, there's other things for that, but like or like it's not meant for like your aunt that lives 3,000 miles away or whatever. It's meant for yourself, like maybe your romantic partner, your friends that are around you, people that are physically close to you, because the magic is through the not just the intention, but also the actual ingesting of the ingredients. And that's where it's the most powerful. It's meant to affect you and whoever you're feeding. So, for example, like if you're looking for love, like for,
All the wrong
in
places?
all the wrong places, and you're like, but I want love in the right place, you could actually use kitchen witchery I mean, you wouldn't necessarily use kitchen witchery to like, ooh, bring me a boyfriend, because that's not really how it works. It's supposed to work like within you. So what you might do is, makes yourself a cocktail that imbues confidence, self-confidence, or you know, positivity, and then so that you're able to put yourself out there and attract a partner. So you're not doing this direct, bring me a boyfriend. You're affecting yourself in a way that brings you the thing that you want.
And you're not like
Um,
making a love potion.
right.
Like, oh, love potion number 9.
But there's basically kind of two parts to kitchen witchery for me. And the first in my mind is the most important, and that's intention. If you just whip up a chocolate cake, it's great, it's tasty, but when you start putting intention into it, that's when it becomes magical, because magic is all about intention. And so, like, before you start working on a recipe that you're going to feed someone, if there's, a crowd coming over and you want to feed them something healthy, and you want to, infuse that healthy, you know, joyousness into your food to share with them, then that's the intention you set before you start making that dish. Well, and then you can use your spoon or your whisk or whatever you're using. That kind of is like your quote unquote wand that your finger, if you're mixing with your fingers, your blender, whatever, like that's the tool that's like focusing that intention into the food. And then the second part is the ingredients. So if you're choosing ingredients for um for spellcraft, then you want to choose ingredients for both their physical and metaphysical properties. Like um ginger, for instance, from a magical perspective, is associated with warmth and energy and protection. And um, it's believed to, restore energy, promote healing, ward off negative energies, but it also has real world health benefits like um, in reducing nausea, calming the digestive system, reducing pain and inflammation, and boosting the immune system. And it has antioxidant properties. So it may protect, actually physically protect against disease as well as metaphysically. So it's a perfect ingredient for spells that are focused on protection, healing, creativity, or energy. So if you get to know your ingredients, you can blend them together into something that's sort of a double whammy. Oh.
I'm gonna say, like, I think ginger, like you said, is so good for nausea and digestive stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that almost every person who's been pregnant
Yeah.
has done something with ginger.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the fact that it's not just that nausea relief.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like strong ginger flavors very much, but I sure did when I was pregnant. And but it's lovely to think about that warmth and protection
Mm-hmm.
that you're taking in this ginger to help with some of the physical symptoms, but you're really coming at it from a place that can also be protective for what you're doing.
Yeah,
You're doing paradise.
absolutely. Yeah. And there's so many ingredients and it's just so once you start learning that, it's like it's really it's fun. It's fun to experiment. It's fun to and I love doing cocktails. That's my favorite. But I also do it with tea. I do it, I bake. So it's always fun to do different things. So here's something that I think you're going to really like because there's different things that you can incorporate into your magical practices and into your kitchen, even if you're not really into being a kitchen witch. For instance, now this, you can magically clean your kitchen before you make a recipe or whatever, add a candle, magic crystals, things. But here's the cool thing. You can also, if you're into sigils, runes, you can carve a sigil or a rune into your fruits or vegetables, or I suppose even your meat if you wanted to, before you cook them. So let's say, you're like, oh, I got a bit of hay fever today and I just need some healing, or I am feeling really stressed today and I just need a little calm, or I'm going in, I'm publishing a book today and I want it to be successful, whatever,
Mhm.
I want to publish it with joy. Just like, pick a rune and carve it into, I don't know, a potato.
Oh, I love potatoes.
And then go ahead and make your potato dish. So, as you carve into it, you're carving your intention and you just then bake it. And simple as that. So,
Oh, potatoes.
yeah, you can
That's what I took out
practice
of this was potatoes.
just bake potatoes.
Well, that and when you said you're gonna like this, you can magically clean your kitchen, and I was like, "What?
Oh, well,
How did
no.
you keep this from me?"
Oh, I wish. No,
I
like
got excited.
you could do a magical cleanse, like,
Oh yeah,
a,
no, yeah.
a smoke cleanse or a saltwater cleanse or whatever. So yeah. And some kitchen witches have like little altars in their kitchen and things. I don't have room for that. And so I don't do that. Although I do have witch themed towels, which is always fun. But yeah, so some will, put a crystal grid there because they, want to imbue that energy into whatever. But yeah, so you can do any kind of practice that you're into. You can bring that into the kitchen and make your food a little more magical.
My kitchen is full of plants.
Well, I
Where
mean,
my magic is.
you're going to get a lot of spillage of magic from your plants onto your food. So that's awesome. I love that.
Sometimes I spillage dirt, but mostly it's just magic.
I mean, what's a little dirt?
Good for the immune system.
I guess that's what they say. So I have a few tips for
Awesome.
wannabe kitchen witches or already kitchen witches. So the number one tip is don't get caught in perfection. Don't don't think that you have to do your witchcraft a certain way. You do you. how it works for you. Just get started and just embrace it.
Passion
Yes.
is the
Yes.
word in the script.
Oh, don't get caught in oh, you do you, boo. You're
We don't
welcome.
always follow, I mean, we follow the scripts only very generally,
Yeah.
but it said you do you boo, and I was waiting for her to say
And I
that.
didn't say it. I am sorry I disappointed. You do you, boo.
Thank you.
There you go. That's kind of my theme for life. That's like you do you, boo. I'll do me. Let's all get along. Uh, two, you don't have to buy anything new or fancy or spend a lot of money. You can just use what you have on hand. Like I said, your spoon or your whisk can be your wand. You if you want to do candle magic and you're like, all I have are these birthday candles left over from my kid's birthday cake. Use those. It's fine. I have literally used birthday candles before in candle magic. So
I
whatever,
love
whatever works. Number three, start simple and get comfortable with your craft. So you don't have to go into some big fancy spell. Start with carving a rune in a potato if that calls to you. Just make it easy. Um, if you like, I actually recommend this. I do this especially for my cocktails, but keep a kitchen grimoire. Um, record like your recipes and spells that you've tried and how they've worked and how they tasted, how you tweak them. And like I said, I do that with my cocktails. So I have a little grimoire where I keep cocktail recipes because I'm constantly tweaking cocktails and trying to make them. Yes.
raising my hand again. I'm very polite today. I realize
You
not everybody
are.
can see me raise my hand, but it's up again. Um, do you have something similar to that you've been collecting all of our cocktail recipes in and our drink recipes for the
Um, I act well, not in one place. I do have them collected and I will be putting them in one place. And we will at some point be releasing a little Caftan Coven Cliffhangers and Cocktails kitchen grimoire
God, that's a lot of
for,
alliteration. I'm
yeah,
so
okay, maybe we'll leave a few things out,
oh,
but maybe not. I don't know. I really like alliteration. Yeah, that's definitely a thing we're going to do in the future for sure. And we are going
okay.
to try every single cocktail to make sure that they are as delicious and magical as they can be because we sacrifice ourselves for you, our listeners.
We're selfless. Like
100%.
so selfless. I am willing to drink so much gin for y'all. Not because I love gin.
No.
No,
It's because you're self-sacrificing like that.
that's right.
And the final tip is it doesn't even have to look witchy. I have done kitchen witchery in my pajamas with a blender. So it doesn't have to look witchy to work. If you want to make it witchy, make it witchy, make it cute. But it doesn't have to be. You can stagger out of bed, grab your coffee, put some cinnamon in it, and say, abundance for this day, and drink it down. If that's all you can manage.
I think a lot of people get stuck on how things look
Yeah.
rather than how things are because
Yes.
you see like oh, on the internet like witches with their like ceremonial circles and
Yeah.
blah blah. I
And
mean,
it
I have
looks overwhelming. I mean, we both have a lot of stuff.
I've been doing this for a real long time.
Yeah. And
So,
and I'm like I told someone today, I can't even remember who it was now, that I'm basically half crow, half dragon. And I just love collecting, you know, rocks and shiny things and ooh, here's a candle for this and here's a incense for that and here's a
oh, I need to put number 6 on this list. What is
oh
this?
yeah. Huh?
Okay, tips list. Do not buy crystals. Do you know why? Because once
Why?
you buy one, all of a sudden you will need an entire suitcase for your rocks, for your magic rocks to move to Portugal. Same thing with Oracle and Tarot decks. Don't
Uh-huh.
start.
Oh, you want to tell us about today's drinky?
I would love to. Today's drink
Mm-hmm.
is Litha's Bee's Knees. And Litha is coming up real soon.
Mm-hmm.
We'll
Next
talk a
month.
little bit more about it in our next episode.
Mm-hmm.
Um, It's June 21st this year. And this drink is for energy, or the energy of this drink, sorry, is for happiness, strength, and purification.
Hmm.
And again, selfless. This does
Hmm.
contain gin.
It does.
So
Yes.
there's, oh, okay. So I made this with my heart again because I'd read the recipe and then I came downstairs to set up and I went upstairs and realized that I hadn't brought anything that I could read the recipe on. So I'm reading the recipe for the first time since making this cocktail.
And this is
Um,
not how you made it because you made it with your heart.
yeah, so
Which
there's one
means
and
it's
a half.
very powerful.
It certainly is strong. Um, so there's theoretically 1.5 ounces of gin, 3/4 of an ounce of lemon, 3/4 of an ounce of honey syrup, which
Mm.
is 1 part honey to 1 part warm water, and you stir that till it's dissolved. I put mine in the fridge for about 24 hours, so it was nice and cool. And then I just added a little bit of warm water and gave it a stir,
Hmm.
just
Yeah, that's pretty much what I did.
for funsies. And then if you like this kind of thing, you can do a 1/4 ounce of crème de Violette. That's my
Which
favorite.
I did.
And
The
I
original, this is a Prohibition cocktail. It's very famous, very well-known cocktail. And the original recipe does not call for the crème de violette. That's just a little extra Litha boost, you know. And I did add it to mine, but you didn't add it to yours because that is not your jam.
it is not my jam.
But it's
Um,
totally my jam.
I don't like the more floral
Mhm.
ingredients. If it's got a flower in its name, I'm not adding it, generally speaking. Like no rose stuff, no hibiscus stuff.
Aw, come on.
None of those things. I do not like the floral taste.
I
Anyway,
do like the floral taste, so
I
I'm gonna
know.
add it.
And that's just another thing, like make something your own. Like
Hmm.
it doesn't have to be exact.
Right.
You can
And a
add
lot
gin
of, yeah,
based on how your heart feels.
absolutely. You can make more gin and reduce the lemon. You can use something like energetically speaking, there's a lot of ingredients that have the same energy. So if you're like, oh, I don't want to use honey, I don't like honey, or I'm allergic to honey, you can use maple or sugar because there's a lot of crossover in the energies of those ingredients. Or if you're like, well, I don't like creme de violette, but I'm not sure actually what would be the but there could be something else. Or, oh, I want to bring out the happiness part of this. So you could use, say, maybe a little bit of orange liqueur instead. And
Cheers.
yeah. So
And I just want to be clear that this is, I mean, we make cocktails,
mm-hmm.
but I have some lovely non-alcoholic gin
Mm,
as well, which
mm-hmm.
tastes it tastes like gin, y'all. Like it's like I think non-alcoholic liquors have really come a long way.
Yeah.
I'm still not thrilled about NA beer and wine. I haven't found anything that I thought really captured the taste and the feel of those. But non-alcoholic liquors are really,
Mm-hmm.
really doing well. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to use gin with alcohol in it.
Pretty much, I think most of our cocktails you can make a mocktail version, and it doesn't really change anything magically because most of the magic is in the intent.
I was going
And
to say, like what we learned first is
yeah.
its intention. And the
Yes.
more you mess around with this stuff, the better you'll be at putting ingredients together and figuring
Hmm.
out what works for you and what works for your intentions
Yeah.
the best.
Because believe me, when I started doing mixology and magical mixology, I had some duds, and I do still occasionally have some duds. Like I didn't know what I was doing, but now it's like I can take a base cocktail recipe and tweak the heck out of it and come up with something that is really tasty to my palate. So it's just a matter of practice.
And that's not my deal at all, as Shay knows. I mean, I like to drink cocktails. I love it that she gives me recipes for cocktails. And I mean, once I have a recipe, I can make it with my heart, which
Yes.
generally seems to mean that almost doubling the amount of gin. Um,
Why does that not surprise me? I feel no shock over this.
I love gin. It's not my fault.
I hope you can get some really delicious, inexpensive gin in Portugal.
Well, I mean, there's so much good gin in Europe.
Hmm.
I've been to gin bars all over.
They're very popular now. in
Hmm.
Europe. Yeah.
And I know
My
there's a cocktail bar just down the street from Chris, um,
nice.
that it's new and it's like tiny and they make a lot of like fancy schmancy cocktails. But
Ooh.
also they just, I mean, obviously I can just go in there and order a martini and
Mhm.
they've got a selection apparently. So
Nice,
honestly,
nice,
by the time
nice.
this airs, I might be there
Yeah,
trying it out.
that is going to be
Science.
wild. I want pictures. Science. You're
Oh,
sacrificing yourself. You're so selfless.
yes. And I will be posting pictures. Um I will get some on our podcast
Ah,
Instagram, but y'all should follow me and Shea as well.
yeah,
If you want to see like cat pictures, that's me, not Shea. Shea is
yeah.
a cat.
Allergic.
Mostly I do cat pictures and like book promo stuff, but
Yeah, I do
um,
random book promo stuff and cocktails and occasionally plant life.
yeah, I do cocktails and cats.
The most important things in life.
Yeah.
So we're
Oh,
moving on
sorry.
to that's
Oh,
okay.
wait, but do you like
Oh,
it?
I love it. Like I
You have
was
to be
really,
left.
I just a tiny bit here.
Um,
I wasn't sure if I'd like the violet in it, but I actually really do. So if
one thing
you're a violet person, I think you will.
one of the things I thought was really interesting, and if you're seeing this on YouTube, you can tell that my cocktail
Mhm.
is pretty brown.
Yeah, and see how pale mine is. Real
And
pale yellow. Uh-huh.
so the kind of honey you use really makes a huge difference, as well
Mhm.
as like how much you put in.
So next up, we're going to have an interview with my good friend, Red Tash, who is a fabulous person, a fabulous witch, and a fabulous author. And I just love her. She's amazing. And we had a great interview with her.
And her book is so funny.
It is
It is
really funny.
so funny. I devoured that Misfits book.
So good.
It
Yeah.
was awesome.
Yeah.
So, anyway, on to the interview.
Hi, everybody. Today we are talking to Leslie Tash, my good friend and an author that I've known for more years than we care to remember. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great, and it's great to meet Amy in person, or sort of in person,
Person-ish.
In
face to
person-ish.
face.
Yeah. Um, so so real quick, Red Tash is a journalist turned novelist of cozy fantasy midlife mystery, witchy nonfiction, and dark fantasy for readers of all ages. She loves witchy cozies and practical magic. She's also a mom of four, a former roller girl, an ardent Hoosier, and is known as that woman with resting librarian face.
Oh, I can see that for sure. So today we are going to be talking about Miss Fitz discovers a mid. Nobody can read today. This is
No.
Banana Crackers. Okay. We are going to be discussing Miss Fitz discovers midlife magic.
You did it.
Get that? Okay.
Yay!
Yay! Reading is fundamental, kids. So, a magical purse, a talking cat, and a psychic hot flash are just the beginning of this whimsical, witchy midlife mystery from author Red Tash. Cozy up with your besties, your cat, or your cat besties, pour a cup of tea, and see what's bubbling. Small town secrets and hidden magic aren't the only surprises awaiting readers in Miss Fitz Discovers Midlife Magic. If you like your witch's sweet and your magic with a dose of mystery, this Thank God I can edit some of this out. With a dose of mystery, this humorous, cozy, okay. Humorous, cozy fantasy midlife mystery is for you. Yeah, I'm such a professional at both reading and talking.
Yeah.
It's actually my first week of doing both.
You say words good. Oh, that's fabulous. So I read Misfits like right after you first published it, and it was so delightful. And I think I emailed you and was like, I want to move to this town immediately.
Yeah.
Because it's
But
just
I
so
bought
charming.
the second I read the first line of the blurb, that a magical purse, a talking cat, and a psychic hot flash, which I still can't say.
Yeah.
Psychic hot flash.
Yeah. So
The second I saw that first line, I'm like, this is for me.
I love the magic purse. I need one. So do you have a favorite like cocktail or mocktail, or does your character have one?
No, that's a fair question. I am not really drinking all that much anymore. Like every once in a while, I'll knock back like a lemonade with vodka or something, and I'm such a lightweight, that
Mm-hmm.
I get a buzz. But so Miss Fitz, I would imagine is the same. She's more of a teetotaler. It's not, she'll drink wine when she's with the girls doing tarot night and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. And it doesn't take long for her to get a little buzzed either. But I don't really think she's had time with raising 4 kids and kind of being everybody's ride or die, their fallback.
Yeah.
Oh, we're shorthanded at the shop. Can you fill in, Missy? Oh, of course. She doesn't know how to say no.
Mm-hmm.
So she didn't have a lot of her time.
Not a lot of time for martini hour.
Yeah, like learning to I'm sure she'd be great at making cocktails if she put her mind to it.
I bet she would.
Thought of it.
Maybe she'll think of it in the future.
It's highly likely now that you have introduced that concept.
I love it.
Well, I am drinking an iced Carnal Amys, according to what was written on my coffee here. It's an iced caramel latte for Amy, but iced Carnal Amys is what I got. So
did they write it in Sharpie, or is it printed out? They wrote it out.
No, but Sharpie.
Carnal, I like it. Now I want to invent something called an iced Carnal Amys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your author journey. When did you begin writing, and how many books do you have published? And I really am interested in learning more about your nonfiction as well. I know that's not specifically what we're talking about today, but I want to know more.
Well, I set them over here on my desk just in case you ask, because I know Shay has read at least one of them. I think probably like all of us started writing as a little girl pretty much as soon as we figured out that we could, and I wrote poetry as a kid, which, they egged me on by running it in the Louisville Courier Journal. And then at summer camp, I made them come up with a newspaper, which we named the Mess Hall Press. And my own kids have recently been on the Mess Hall Press. It is still a thing at camp.
Oh my God.
I remember after that, I went back to school in the 4th grade, and I made a newspaper. I wrote horoscopes. I drew cartoons. I wrote stories. I made them up, but they were still news stories. And then I had my dad photocopy it so I could pass one out to everybody in class. Just really obnoxious,
Yeah.
So the first time I tried to write a novel, which was about basically a Mary Sue, but her name was, I think, Tracy, because I was obsessed with that name at the time, was 6th grade. And I think probably about 7th grade, I found this and I threw it in the garbage.
Oh no.
Mortifying, and my mom dug it out.
Ooh,
and then
good
she
mom.
brought it to me like in 8th grade, and I was like, why are you doing this? This is the most embarrassing thing in the world. She's like, somebody will be glad you have it. And I do wish that I had it now. I don't, of course, because I think I set fire to it after that. Like once you've gone, you will stay gone. But eventually I went to college and got my degree in the only sensible thing for a writer, accounting.
I mean, those things are very similar.
Yeah, it was so horrible. It was not me, but my mother had drilled into my head that I needed to do something practical. And I had a scholarship to business school, and they didn't have any majors in the liberal arts. It was all business school stuff. If I had to do it again, I'd do marketing. But I did accounting. And so I worked as an accountant, and I worked in public accounting. I worked for the federal government as an auditor for the Department of Agriculture. I'm a smart person and I could do that, but I kept writing. After doing that and, working as a freelance journalist while balancing having, 3 little boys, my daughter came around, and I was on, maternity leave / what am I going to do with my life now for the 4th time. my very supportive husband said, there's people and they're posting their books on Amazon. They're just publishing them themselves. And I know there's one you've been working on for about 10 years. So why don't you just finish it up and do that? And of course, he also added, and then I'll be rich. He's still waiting on that part to
On the
come
rich.
Well, I gotta tell you, when you said, and then my daughter came along, you kind of shifted a little bit to the side so we could all see Tay Tay back there.
Oh,
and it really made me feel like that might be your daughter. So you guys should be rich by now. Just saying.
She's definitely part of the family in spirit.
Nice. So
Anyway.
you published that book
Yes.
that you.
Sorry to derail.
And the rest, as they say, is history.
I reckon I'm still at it. So
Excellent. I remember your roller derby books. Those were fun. with the Fae. They were Fae, right? Yeah.
Yep. Roller derby.
Roller derby. Yeah.
I recently, let's see if I have it over here.
Wait, I'm gonna go buy like 17 more books during this discussion, and I blame y'all.
I don't have that one up here. I just realized it. But I recently realized that I wasn't giving myself enough credit for all the writing that I have done through the years. So I took at least one copy of each of my paperbacks or magazines or things that I've been printed in, what I actually had, because I don't have everything. And I set it up here in my office. I put it on top of my bookshelf.
That's
so
a
when I
great
walk
idea.
in this room, the first thing I see are all these books that I've either written or been published in.
Yeah,
but
that's a great
I don't
idea.
have Troller Derby up here, so I don't have that or Troller. What's the second one? Troller Park.
Yeah, I can't remember if I read. Yeah, I read the second one. I remember the first one the most, but it was so cute.
Entirely possible that I just bought Troller Derby. This is why I probably should not have Amazon open because, but I haven't. I needed it.
I mean, you did. You did. It's important. It's for science.
Exactly.
For science. Yeah, I have to look up the authors
too, right?
That we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Buying all your books would definitely be.
And I can tell you that because I'm an accountant. You can take that off your taxes, lady.
That's right. So tell us more about like Misfits, the series, the book, and what inspired it, and what inspired the main character and the setting and all of that.
Well, for years, I would write about my family life and sort of things that I learned and just weird observations and stuff about the kids. And we have a mutual friend, Emma Jameson, who was like, you should put this in a book. Just make a character who feels this way and put this in a book. I'm like, it's so easy for you. I couldn't do it. I could write a fairy roller girl and a troll prince, but like putting a mom in a situation, I just wasn't there emotionally until I was. Nashville, Indiana was started in the pioneer days as an artist colony. And there have been a plethora of famous artists who have lived and worked in the area. Probably the most famous was a fellow named T.C. Steele, and his farm / studio / gardens. That's like a state park now where you can go and tour all of this. And it's really cool. So that was the kind of basis that this little town had. There's tons of log cabins. People came up from Kentucky and built log cabins, and it's very hilly. So, it's kind of got the hills and the hollers. And then everybody's very artistic. There's pottery, there's painting, there's a lot of people playing bluegrass.
It sounds lovely.
What's that?
It sounds lovely.
Yeah, it is. It's wonderful. And I mean, if you're not from Indiana, you probably haven't heard of it. When people move here from Indiana or from other states, I'm like, have you been to Nashville yet? And they talk about going away for the weekend because it's just so fun. It's quaint. It's the perfect size little town that you can walk around and see half of it one day, half the other, and like, okay, this is great. And I ate all the places I wanted to eat, and I shopped all the places I wanted to shop. But we were thinking of moving, and we're at the point in life where we don't really have any more relatives in the area that we're beholden to live near. So it's like, where would we move? And we started looking at up there. And that just happened to be the spot where I would go with my 2 girlfriends to have like a girls' weekend
Mm-hmm.
once or twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of started cooking. Like the idea that, there's this midlife mom and she didn't discover magic abilities in herself until menopause. Because, good God,
Oh,
perimenopause,
I know.
a psychic hot flash is still a freaking hot flash. I
Yeah,
mean, it's still horrible.
it is horrible. I'm like,
And you have so many changes and you have
mm-hmm.
no more F's to give.
Mm-hmm.
And I think having lived 25 years as an invisible woman, I mean, just a mom, I've seen and heard so many things, or people just act like I'm not even there. I thought, what if that type of person, she could just kind of make her way through things and she could be investigating and no one's paying any attention. They
Mm-hmm.
don't realize what they're saying in front of her. So that's really where all the ideas came from. And it's just a place I love to go there physically, and then I love to write about it because the version in my head, of course, is tweaked a little bit,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
little more
Yeah.
magical. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I just love it. I love spending time there.
Cool.
That's awesome. That sounds great. I want to go there.
I know, it sounds fantastic.
So can you tell us like some of the recurring side characters, give us a little rundown on what's going on besides Misfit?
Okay. Well, obviously she has a wonderful husband, because this is just so much easier when I base it on my own life. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not Misfits. I imagine Misfits looks more like Melissa McCarthy.
Mm.
And she's got this
Mm-hmm.
wonderful, supportive husband who is not like Melissa McCarthy's husband, but he's round like she is, and they're just kind of like two little happy hobbits. And then they have these four children, um, some of them on the autism spectrum, and which is like my life as well. And then they're just kind of these solid, happy people that go through this interesting life, and all the quirky characters are the relatives, the neighbors, the people in the town. I think before I was always writing characters that had some sort of inherent flaw or a thing to overcome,
Mm-hmm.
whereas Misfits and Sin is what everyone calls them for short. They're just really good, steady people.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
She's
Me too.
scatterbrained, but we don't look at
Yeah.
that as a flaw. That's just life.
Yeah.
And
So,
also perimenopause.
Yeah,
yeah,
especially perimenopause life. I've never been so scatterbrained in my life.
yeah, and four kids, to be
Yeah,
That's
responsible
so
for.
many kids.
that is a
That's
lot of
Yeah.
like 4
kids.
times as many kids as I could manage.
Yeah.
I
At
have
this
one. I
point
have
in
one
her
daughter.
life, though, 2 of her kids are leaving the nest. They're,
Yeah.
so she just has 2 at home, but that comes with its own challenges too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I enjoy as well, is even though sometimes it's hard, it is an outlet for those emotions as a empty nester in progress. When you've got one that's 24 and you've got one that's 14, it's like I'm empty nesting for the next 4 or 5 years,
Yeah.
but also trying to be present with the one I've still got.
So why did you decide to write paranormal?
I've always been, I guess, a little bit of a witchy paranormal person. I was not comfortable telling people this until I ran out of F's, and now I'll tell anybody who wants to know. I saw ghosts when I was a young girl. I don't think I've seen a ton of them, but I definitely saw one once. And my husband and I are both very sensitive, and not just sensitive like, oh, we don't want to hurt your feelings, but sensitive like, I was thinking, I think I'm going to go downstairs and get some grapes. And I go down there and he's at the fridge washing me grapes. Like, he'll come
Wow.
outside and stand on the front porch just before I pull up the driveway, and it's not
Yeah.
because he's watching me on an app or anything. We amplify each other in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think after, the fun of writing about the fairies and the trolls, and, my experimentation with writing romance and stuff like that, I got to the point where I was like, I've been putting off writing about witches all my life because I didn't want people to say, she's a witch, burn her at the stake.
Mm-hmm.
Which, where I live in Southern Indiana, I really do not think that that is a danger, but it is a very, conservative, very religious area.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have friends who I'm certain have clicked the unfriend button since I started writing.
Oh, wow.
in this
Yeah.
genre because they don't want to go to hell and they're praying for me.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
I
so thoughtful.
respect their experience, you know, their right to feel that way. But I think I just ran out of F's to give. And I was like, this is what I really want to write about.
Mm-hmm.
I want to write about this kind of woman in this kind of town with this kind of life. Oh, and guess what? She just found out she's a witch. So
Yeah.
let's have some fun.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Life's too short not to write what you want to write about, you know?
Yeah. But I would tell you, you know, romance is not my strong suit. I appreciate a well-written romance, and I don't think that the ones that I wrote were bad by any means, but I have a lot more fun with the cozy fantasy mystery, you know,
Mm-hmm.
cozy paranormal, women's fiction, whatever you want to call it, the midlife lady solving mysteries with witches and talking cats. I have so much more fun with that than
Mm-hmm.
anything else that I've done before now. So
I love
it
talking
took,
cats.
you know, 15 years to find what I wanted to write.
I have to admit, I feel very much the same. I mean, I write a few different things and I enjoy all of them, but there's just something special about writing midlife witches and
Mhm.
their shenanigans. And talking cats are always fun.
Absolutely.
I have a
Yes.
talking cat in one of my series.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
I
you
do
have
too.
to. I think you have to. If you don't have
Yeah.
a talking cat, forget it.
So, you already said that Misfits in your mind was like Melissa McCarthy.
Yes.
So I guess we answered that question of who would
Hmm.
play your main character.
Hmm.
I'll fight you for her though, because
Yeah.
one of my
I don't think you have to fight.
well,
Yeah.
no, because we can both get picked up by Netflix and have Melissa McCarthy in our series, right?
Please. Please.
Because one of my non paranormal cozy mystery series, she was also exactly who I had in my
Mhm.
mind, and every time I got stuck, I would ask myself, what would Melissa McCarthy do? And then of course it would come to me because I've
Uh-huh.
seen like all her movies and everything. So
Yeah.
so
I don't think
what
I have Melissa, so
oh well, maybe you need to write Melissa, because I really feel that no author life is complete without a little Melissa McCarthy.
Hmm. And she's done so much funny, like physical comedy,
Mm-hmm.
as well as just really playing these smart, funny characters that
Mm-hmm.
she's going to make her way into your, into your carnal,
You're carnal. You're
your
carnal.
carnal cranial.
well, I am starting a new series right now, so I'm casting characters in my head. So maybe I will
But maybe
have
she'll come to you.
maybe she's gonna be the sexy vampire bounty hunter.
Oh, I love it,
Ooh,
because I could totally
yeah,
see her doing that role. It would be
yeah,
fucking hilarious.
it would be
All right.
great.
Yeah.
Well, now we've just cast the sexy vampire bounty hunter, and I feel like I might
Yes.
owe everybody on this call some carnal.
Some carnal,
Can
some
she
iced
get
carnal.
romantically involved with Jason Bateman at some point? Because I think they have great chemistry.
I don't think so.
Oh,
That's not gonna happen. Sorry.
So what are your plans for this year? Like, do you have some books coming out? Will there be more from the Misfits series?
right now I am working on the third book still. I've been working on it forever. It's Misfits in the Hard No November, where Missy learns to set some boundaries. That's a very
Mm,
hard thing to teach oneself to do.
it is,
So
yes.
Indeed.
she doesn't always do it right. I'm at the point now where I'm going through my first edit pass, and I know
Hmm.
you all are pros. You know what I'm talking about. Like I've got my first edit pass is just fixing everything that's obviously wrong, and then
Hmm.
I'll go through and I'll look for all the places. Well, I should have put something magic here. What would magic this up? What would jazz it up? Oh, it's
Hmm.
November. It's another edit pass. Let's make this smell, feel, taste like November. And
Yeah.
so I'm going through my very first edit pass. After I get through this, it should be all because those other edit passes are much faster. But I've
Hmm.
decided to narrate my own audiobooks with the
Mm.
series, not so much because of paying people, because I could come up with a budget for that, but because I found so many mistakes that made it past editors, made it past beta readers, made
Mm-hmm.
past, was as I was narrating the first one, this is what the first cover looked like.
Yeah.
And that it. And then I changed the cover recently. I feel like it matches the genre a
Yeah.
little better.
I
Yeah.
do love that first cover, but that second one definitely
Yeah,
matches
it's
the
more like
genre
a
a little
tarot
better.
card, the
Yeah.
color of that. So, but reading that for the audiobook, I was embarrassed of how many things got missed.
Mm.
So this is now going to be part of my process. When I
Okay.
finish all these edits, I'm going to go over here to my closet, to my microphone. It's a skinny little closet too. I got to like
Mhm.
stoop in there like this to the microphone, but it's worth it because, I get to revisit everything. And it was particularly wonderful before getting started on book 3, because since I'm not one of those novel a month people, there's
Mhm.
things I've forgotten.
Mhm.
And reading those books aloud before I started book 3, I was just ready. I was right back into it. So
Yeah.
that is my only writing goal for this year, is to get Hard No November finished. And then, of course, I'll be able to release the audiobook the same time as the ebook, because I'll
Mhm.
have recorded it and made those
Great.
changes. And
That's
I
such a great
really
idea.
like to do it before November. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, that would be great.
But I'm not going to be hard on myself if I don't
Yeah.
get them, because we are also trying to sell our house and move.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
That's a
big
lot.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
one of those big life things for sure.
Mhm. Mhm. So
All right. Okay, there's one more question on my question sheet here, but
Mhm.
I'm gonna slide in at one that's not there. So can you talk a little bit about your nonfiction? I really want to know
Yes,
about the
yes. Please tell
nonfiction.
us about your
I would
nonfiction.
love to. So this isn't a very big book. The Kitchen Witch, my life as a kitchen witch, that I kind of started writing as a little bit of a like sort of a joke, but like a how-to at the same time, because I had so many friends that were like, I can't believe you make your own laundry detergent. Or what do you mean you cured your rosacea with stuff that you mix together in your bathroom? I'm like, okay, these are all little potions, so I'll write them down. And then I kept finding other things that were witchy in the aesthetic. Like I referred to the Amazon robot Alexa as a demon. I'm calling the demons to do my bidding, that kind of stuff. And so it really, I would say writing this was probably the beginning of me accepting myself as someone who is sensitive and who is a problem solver and who does have some life wisdom to share, aka a witch.
A witch.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. So there was that one. And then we went through the pandemic, and I realized that not just me, but other people were at this point in their lives where they have to kind of emerge from the cocoon, the cave of pandemic lockdown. As someone who has chronic illness, I have dealt with the isolation, with the sometimes I can go to work, sometimes I can't. I've got to make, different sort of accommodations for myself. And again, I have kids with special needs. So I felt like I had something to bring to that discussion. Like, hey, when you're feeling like this, remember this. And so I made it like, I guess what I tried to do was make it kind of like a memoir, but then at the end of each chapter, it brings it back to the reader. How do you feel about XYZ? Have you ever tried to do this thing? What would you do? Because I really wanted it to be something that the reader gets a lot out of, not just, the Leslie show. So yeah, there's like journaling prompts at the
Oh,
end.
cool.
But I do like writing nonfiction. As a former journalist, it's very easy and it flows. And if I were to give a young writer advice right now who's trying to choose between writing nonfiction or fiction, I would say, honey, get you a bunch of nonfiction books out there first. And after you've got some money coming in from those, then start dabbling with novels. Because nonfiction just perennially outsells fiction, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
I'm so excited to be a full-time writer because I've got a list of all the things that I've wanted to write that I haven't had time to do. So excited. And nonfiction is on there for sure.
Do you think you will switch between the projects, or will you like push through with the series and then get to a stop and then change gears? How do you think you'll do it?
I mean, I usually I have about 3 active series right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true? Yes.
That's what I saw on your webpage.
I have 2 complete series, 2 that are in process, and a third one that I'm writing the first book on right now. So I'll probably write a first 2 or 3 in my new series and then start kind of rotating through them because I'll have more time. And I am a very fast writer. I once had to write a book in 10 days because of a deadline. And so I'd quit one job and was going to a new job. So I took 10 days between them so that I could hit my deadline. And I wrote a 70,000 word book in 10 days. Do not recommend.
Yeah, that's
Not
just
recommend.
Yeah.
That's nonsense.
It takes a lot of confidence in yourself and your abilities to push through and do that. And I think you should be proud of that. Even though I'm sure at the time you felt like it was, why did I agree to this? I think it's really awesome that you did that.
It's just really hard on your body and your brain.
Yeah.
Don't recommend for your physical and mental health.
Yeah.
But I can do that. I can write really fast, really clean books really fast. But I'm never going to do it that fast again. But that's really kind of my plan, is that I can go through and do all these things and also just take time, like for me to figure out what I want to do.
So tell us where that we can find you and find your books and all that goodness.
Okay. Well, our website is Planet Tash, and pretty much everything that my husband Tim and I write, we try to funnel through Planet Tash. And on the menu bar at the bottom, it says follow us, and there's like a gajillion social media links there. But if somebody wants to reach me directly, probably the best way is Instagram or just send me an email.
Are you under Red Tash or Leslie Tash for your?
On Instagram,
oh no, you're Planet Tash.
Yeah, on Instagram, I'm actually the Planet Tash because my late in life diagnosed ADHD, I just like to go from this to this to this to this. So even with the medicine, I just do it with more aplomb now.
Excellent.
Oh yeah, it's all on the Planet Tash.
Excellent. Well, we'll be sure to drop the link in the show notes so that everybody can find you and your fabulous books.
You like to skip from series to series too, right?
I do. I think I have like 5. Yeah, I've got Lady Rample. I'm writing. I just started well, I don't know if it'll be a series or just like a one-off, but about her Aunt Betty. And I have Edwina. I have the Miracle Bay series. I have
to tell you about something.
I have like 5 active series right now, I think.
So if anybody doesn't know from the Miracle Bay series, Shea has a house full of little old ladies who aren't everything that they seem.
Yeah.
I took my kid to a play. I did not realize that it was going to be as spicy as it was. But if you have a chance to see this, I took her for her birthday. I've never laughed so hard in my life. 52 years, I've never laughed so hard. It's called Golden Girls. The Laughs Continue.
Okay.
It is a loving tribute to the Golden Girls, but it is like set in today, and it's got a lot of in-jokes, and everyone who performs is a man. So the Dorothy really looks and sounds like Dorothy. My daughter was like, my mom's taking me to a drag show. And I was like, well, it's not a drag show. You know, I've been to a drag show. That's not what this is. This is a play. You know, so it had little elements of drag here and there, but mostly these guys, I mean, they nailed these characters. And Blanche is the funniest one. She will change you from being a Betty White stan to a Rue. Was it Rue Devereaux? Was that her name?
Yeah, Rue McClanahan.
Rue McClanahan. Yeah, she'll change you to being a Rue McClanahan stan. It was just so funny. So if you have a chance to see it, Golden Girls, The Laughs Continue. Do not wait. Get as close to the stage as you can because they will talk to you and tease you and make you part of the play. It's so funny.
Wait, so you said amazing. Stand as far away from the stage as possible so that
no, me right down in the front.
I love being at the front for like those kinds of things and dragging you into it. Even though typically I'm kind of a behind the scenes person, I'm like, for that, I'm like, yes, let me be part of you.
Yes, and we saw that in Nashville, Indiana.
Oh,
A place where
fantastic.
Misfits takes place. It's the kind of place that has a brand new, theater, and they'll bring stuff like that. And it was
I
incredible.
love it. That's
That's
fantastic.
amazing.
Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining us today. It has been fantastic talking to
It
you.
really has been.
And everybody, like, pick up Misfits. You will not be disappointed. It is such a fun book and just such, you will definitely want to hop right into the next book because it's just a joy to read, and it's a wonderful sort of a lot of emotions, but also kind of escapism too. It's really
I
great.
cannot wait. I am so excited to
Yes.
dive into this.
Thank you so much. It has been such an honor and a privilege being able to speak with both of you. And Amy, you're just like cracking me up. I know you've been friends with Shea for a long time, but I think I'm going to probably, bother you in the future. I'll be like, hi, Amy, remember me?
It's
You're
not a
really
bother.
cool.
I like to share all the cool people that I know. So
Yes.
fantastic.
You know a lot of cool people.
Thanks once again, and definitely everybody check out all the links in the show notes.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Welcome back.
Hello.
Hello. So that was
No, we
fun.
weren't actually gone.
Oh, no, we weren't actually gone. No. But that was really fun. It was so fun talking to her, and we'll have to have her on again because she is just fantastic to talk to.
Yeah. 100%.
So now, do you want to pull an oracle card for us today?
I would love to. And y'all know, probably at this point, about my collection of Seasons of the Witch. Nobody can see this.
There you go.
So this is the Litha deck, and I opened it for the very first time about 30 minutes before this podcast. There was cellophane on the box and everything. So this has never been touched.
It's a virgin deck.
Oh, it's pretty. It always has pretty foil edges, but this is like a purpley.
Ooh, that is pretty.
So yeah, the virgin deck. You guys are here for it. I'm gonna shuffle 3 times.
You are very, very special, everybody. You get you get a card today that no one's ever seen.
These are very stiff.
I can't wait because I have some oracle decks coming from Kickstarters that I've done, and I can't wait to get them because they're going to be so pretty.
Pretty. 2. This is taking forever. They're so stiff.
I love how slippery they are, and they just go skating off into the...
All right. Okay. These are beautiful. The card back is the moon, surrounded by 4 butterflies.
Oh, how pretty.
And it's just so beautiful.
And I love the purple background. That's really pretty.
I love purple. It's my second favorite color.
Same. Well, I kind of had tied purple and blue, which is why our colors are purple and blue.
Mine are purple and green, but I was in charge of colors.
Yeah. Well, there's a tiny bit of green in our logo. Tiny bit.
It's a beautiful logo.
I love it.
So
I'm so
I drew butterflies.
Ooh.
And I'll post this on.
Okay. All right.
So on the card, it says, here in the unknown, you will find the essence of who you really are and what magic awaits. Oh, and that already feels.
Yeah.
That already feels real good.
That feels great. And describe the card. What does it look like for our listeners?
Oh, yeah, I suppose I could do that.
Yeah, you could. I mean, you don't have to, but.
So there is a young-looking Black person with like ethereal butterfly wings. They're pink and transparent, and there's a butterfly on their head.
Aww.
There's butterflies flying around, and they have their hand up, just like kind of cupped up, and it looks like there's like flowers, maybe dandelion seeds that are being blown.
Nice.
It looks like they're blowing like dandelion seeds, maybe.
I love it.
And then there's like a bright celestial body that could be the sun.
And then read the deck again. Read the meaning again.
Here in the unknown, you will find the essence of who you really are and what magic awaits. It's such a magical looking card.
It is. It's really beautiful. I love that. That's fantastic.
So in the book, it says the keywords are breakthrough, transcendence, and profound change. The humble caterpillar melts down and rebuilds itself into a stunning butterfly and one of the most beautiful symbols of transformation. A caterpillar essentially digests itself by releasing special enzymes within the chrysalis that dissolve its tissues into a soup of proteins that are used to rebuild the body, forming its wings, legs, and the rest of its anatomy. Its willingness to completely break itself down is what leads to such a profound change. It may be difficult, but it knows that it has outgrown its current state and it's time to set itself free. Well, that sounds profound.
Yes,
So
it does.
Are in the midst of a profound breakthrough and are about to transcend your understanding of who you were. Spiritual signs come so rarely in the form of a huge flashing billboard, but in this case, you can expect something truly dramatic to shake up your way of being.
Well,
Whether
gee.
is the result of a devastating event or a happy coincidence is unknown. I think it's both for me.
Yeah, because I'm looking at like what's coming up in your life and going, yeah.
And the fact that it's happening now is kind of the result of a devastating event.
Yes, it very much is. Yeah. Wow. It's funny because we have been getting a lot of cards lately about transformation and change and all that. And it's like, wow.
It says my life will look completely different a year from now. All of our lives, not just mine. All of our lives.
All of our lives, yes. That's fantastic.
Attention to synchronicities and dreams. They're trying to get your attention. This card is validation of a desire to make a significant life change, and it means yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Do it. Yes.
Yes, I love it.
Change.
That's fantastic.
I loved that.
I love that.
I think I have too much energy out there because all of our cards are about my life.
But not just you. I think they're about other, change is coming.
Your life is going to look completely different 1 year from now, and it's going to be amazing.
It is. Absolutely. Amazinger. Because it's pretty good now, but it's going to be amazinger. Well, where can they get all the deck, the books, the recipes?
Those links are in the show notes.
Yeah. And don't forget to like and subscribe and share.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Smash that like button. And thanks all. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.